Nami saw Bellemere pass, but she said, "I love you" beforehand. And like Chopper had his last moment with Dr. Hiriluk.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm like, Brook don't get none of that. Not with Candle, not with Reuven. It's just unresponsive body on the floor. And I'm like, bro, wait, what's happening? Freaking out.
From the very first page, Brook appears completely disassociated to the point he doesn't even know what he's staring at. But once he clocks back in, he's like, huh? That's dissociation, bro. The world is literally spinning around him, and he's in such profound disbelief that he momentarily loses all sense of where he is. He's simply unable to process what he's seeing. If you peep game, when Brook first got there, King Reuven did have the wings and the horns. In the next chapter, when Brook still hasn't moved, the wings and horns disappear. So it means Brook made it in time right before he passed. But before he started touching him, he was completely gone. How heartbreaking is that, dog? Yo, I'm like...
Seeing Brook going through this, you can see how like traumatic, because he has like this whole outwardly like thing going on with him, like in this panel right here, where he's so confused. He's trying to put things together.
It's like the world is spinning.
Yeah, his world is spinning. He's like, and then it's standing there because you're seeing Gunko, the one you raised, and then he's like trying to piece it together. So it was like heartbreaking for Brook to experience this, especially too, because Brook's probably like 28, 27 years old at this time. But you can see the connection that him and Reuven had, because he raised him from Brook was like 7 at the time, all the way till now. And then the one you helped raise too, Shuri, is the one that kind of ended this all like for you. So then he's just yelling out, bro, and then it's like he's clearly passed, but he's still holding on, trying to see that he could save Reuven, like medic. But and then he's having this flashback about how when he first met him and everything.
I really like this first page with Brook like having like a mental breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
I think even the way the panels are lined up and the way the first panel is like a wide shot
of the entire
kingdom, but everything is kind of drawn like in a circular fashion, like the way the ships are drawn around the island and everything like that. And then when you get to the point where Brook's, even his hair has swirls in it, like it's doing like this Alfred Hitchcock kind of thing. You can almost picture like in the anime they would do like a camera zoom in, like it did like during Jaws and whatnot. So I really like the way Oda does when characters have this like great epiphany or like this mental breakdown. So I think like that's really dope the way he drew that.
Brooke seeing King Reuven unresponsive was heartbreaking to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I felt really bad, as you guys might know, at least Marv and Larry know, and Lawrence. I've been doing a lot of rereading some of the older One Piece flashbacks for some of the other Straw Hats.
I thought you were going to say you experienced the same thing.
No.
I was like,
crazy.
You didn't tell us this, bro.
That's crazy. But almost every other Straw Hat seems to have at least some like final moment, some like last words, some sort of inspiration that they can glean from their loved one that passes tragically to them. Like Nami saw Bellemere pass, but she said, "I love you" beforehand. And like Chopper had his last moment with Dr. Hiriluk.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm like, Brook don't get none of that. Not with Candle, not with Reuven. It's just unresponsive body on the floor. And I'm like, bro, wait, what's happening? Freaking out. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I was like waiting for more. Like, is he going to have a conversation? I think Lawrence brought it up last week. Like, we saw in the mini flashback for Shuri, she like screamed out father or whatever in her memory. Like, maybe we would see Brook see that interaction in some way. Nothing. Reuven just gone. We didn't even see it. We didn't see the conversation. We didn't see the battle. We didn't see nothing. We see him probably got Diamond Reversi because he had the horns on his head and he got manipulated in some way to attack his daughter / other way around and he's out. And it's like, yo, Brook didn't even get to experience nothing. No happiness. No last moments. Nothing to hold on to. And we'll get back to that later in the chapter. But like, I'm not gonna lie, that was tough for me. And it reminded me, like, Kanto was gone off screen. Like, he don't get nothing.
Yeah, I'm so fresh like the morning. Mouth wide open like they yawning. Every time they see me, they in G-Shock. Homie, this is too far. Homie, I feel too alive. You can see me like Illuminati. You can see me like Illuminati. But I'm shining so bright, so bright. Don't come and try to share some of this light now. Give me a beat and I control it like a maestro. Ladies on a mission, they be trying to get me wiped up. Shawty, wait a minute, can't tell if I like ya. Gotta make sure you know how to shake it like a bartender. Team with me and they all winners. And you know we ballin' all winners.
I have so much to say about the second part of this chapter, specifically about Brook. But if there's one thing I want to highlight, it's how incredible Oda is at portraying a character's emotions. From the very first page, Brook appears completely disassociated to the point he doesn't even know what he's staring at. But once he clocks back in, he's like, huh? That's dissociation, bro. The world is literally spinning around him, and he's in such profound disbelief that he momentarily loses all sense of where he is. He's simply unable to process what he's seeing. Almost immediately, that disbelief turns into panic. He rushes to King Reuven's side, desperately begging for him to wake up as tears begin to come and seep into his eyes. Then the next emotion is frustration. Brook becomes angry that Reuven isn't responding, refusing to accept what happened. He starts yelling at Reuven in anger, as if it's Reuven's fault. We've experienced 4 emotions within a couple panels. When Shuri tells him that man is dead, I don't think I've ever seen a character have that much expression on his face in One Piece as Brook does in that one shot. He looks at her as if he's offended by her statement. His expression is filled with confusion, but also denial. And rather than directing his anger towards Shuri because of how much she means to him, he immediately goes to the guy that's in the back that hasn't said a word, hasn't even moved, hasn't even looked up. He gives all his anger towards him. And it's I feel what he's feeling at that moment. Deep down, Brook simply can't accept that King Reuven is gone. He continues trying to appeal to Shuri. He knows, desperately clinging to the hope that she's still there. But when Shuri challenges his beliefs and rejects everything he's saying, Brook's frustration only grows stronger. And he starts yelling at the top of his lungs at her, as if she's the same child he's been disciplining to some degree. Then, almost immediately, that anger gives way to concern for the people of Hesperia. So he's going back and forth the kingdom's dead. No, you can't say the kingdom's dead. If you got to understand, if the kingdom is no longer, we're going to turn into a wasteland, and what's going to happen to all the people? He was disassociated a second ago. So it's he's trying to find some type of stabilization within his emotions, but he can't. He has so much to think and worry about. And then finally, when Guro speaks, Brook is thrown right back into disbelief again, because every emotional beat lands exactly when it should. What impressed me most wasn't just what Brook was feeling, it was how naturally Oda transitioned him from one emotion to the next. Disbelief, panic, grief, anger, denial, hope, worry, and then disbelief all over again. It was I was watching a masterpiece of emotions, and I was yo, this is probably one of the best beginnings of a chapter I think I've ever seen. I didn't even know how to process it. You can genuinely feel every stage of Brook's emotional breakdown as you read the chapter. It was phenomenal character writing. Phenomenal. Oda didn't just tell us Brook was devastated, he made us experience that devastation alongside him, brother. By the end of the chapter, I couldn't feel nothing but awful for this guy. I really couldn't. I hope y'all felt what I was feeling for a second.
I did, man. I was reading it, and I feel Peyton saw me getting emotional about it.
Yeah.
I was are you good? And I was yo, this is kind of wild right now. You don't understand.
You know what's crazy too? If you peep game, when Brook first got there, King Reuven did have the wings and the horns. In the next chapter, when Brook still hasn't moved, the wings and horns disappear. So it means Brook made it in time right before he passed. But before he started touching him, he was completely gone. How heartbreaking is that, dog? Yo, I'm even the littlest details. He just made it and he couldn't even say goodbye to him.
Yeah, man.
And Reuven.
Yo, how sad is that, bro?
Reuven may not even know that Brook made it in time.
He probably hoping Brook don't come.
Yeah, it's
I hope you don't make it here. You get off the island somehow. You don't got to witness this.
And you know what makes it so much more heartbreaking? Is that when Brook was a child and Brook was about to be murdered by the Marines for stealing curry powder, King Reuven and Candle were the ones to come and save him. Now when it's his turn, Candle's already gone. He finds out she's been SA'd, if he didn't already know, and he couldn't save the man who saved him.
Or the daughter.
And he's as accomplished, as strong as he is. Brother, come on, dog. What type of trauma is Oda trying to...
Cooking, man.
Yo, it's sad as hell.
I loved it.
It's so sad.